welcome back. We were discussing, we were building up towards monotone convergence theorem. We said we defined pointwise convergence and almost everywhere convergence of a sequence of functions f n of omega to f of omega. We said that even if f n of omega converges to f of omega for all omega or for almost all omega, it does not necessarily mean that integral f n d mu converges to integral f d mu. It is not true generally, right. We gave a counter example to show that this limit of the limit and integration cannot be interchanged, right. We gave an explicit example where the integral of the limit and the limit of the integral were different, right. So, the monotone convergence theorem gives one sufficient condition under which you can in fact interchange limit and integration. Okay. So, the condition is not just convergence almost everywhere, but monotonic convergence almost everywhere. Okay. So, I will state the monotone convergence theorem. So, you have, so what you have is omega f mu some measure space, and let G n be a sequence of measurable functions such that G n increases to G mu almost everywhere, i.e. G n of omega is less than or equal to G n plus 1 of omega mu almost everywhere, and so limit and in limit tending into infinity G n of omega equal to G of omega also mu almost everywhere. Then integral G n d mu increases to integral G d mu. Okay. So, this is the statement of the monotone convergence theorem. So, you have so these are non-negative, so these are non-negative functions, they are non-negative measurable functions such that you have G n converging to G mu almost everywhere, but you also it is not just convergence, it is convergence monotonically. So, you have G n of omega, so G n of omega is less than or equal to G n plus 1 of omega. So, this is true for all n is equal to 1 2 dot dot dot. Okay. So, this holds mu almost everywhere, which means that there may be a set of mu measure 0 where maybe monotonicity does not hold, right. So, G n of omega is less than or equal to G n plus 1 of omega. So, for every omega you have a sequence of increasing numbers, this will be a sequence of increasing numbers, except it may not hold in a mu measure 0 set, and similarly you have convergence mu almost everywhere. Okay. G n of omega converges to G of omega for almost all omega, mu almost everywhere. In that case you are guaranteed that the limit and integral can be interchanged. So, here again I write an up arrow because the sequence of these integrals will be bigger and bigger, right, because these functions are themselves getting bigger and bigger. So, the limit of this integral. So, another way of writing this is limit n tending to infinity integral is equal to integral of limit, right. So, this is saying that therefore, you can interchange limit and integration so long as you have monotonic convergence, not just convergence, but monotonic convergence almost everywhere. Okay. Is the statement of this theorem clear? Any questions on the statement? So, this theorem is perhaps the most important in integration theory. It is considered the cornerstone of integration theory, and it has lots of applications, and it also has some important corollaries which we will do a little later. Okay. So, the proof of the monotone convergence theorem is little long, but not difficult. So, in fact, if you look at the MIT Open Courseware in lecture number 11, there is a full proof of the monotone convergence theorem, and it runs to about 2 pages, okay, which is not a very long proof, come to think of, because it is a very fundamental theorem, right. It is a very important foundational result, but it proof is only 2 pages long, right. In fact, I suggest you look at it. And how do you suspect that you will prove it? There is only one way to prove all results in integration, start with simple functions, right. So, what you will assume, so the way the proof builds up is that you assume that you first assume that the limit function is a simple function. This g is some q, some limit function is simple, and you have monotonic convergence to a simple limit function. Then you can explicitly prove that this theorem holds, and the key ingredient in that is continuity of measures, continuity of any general measure, not just probability measures. Okay. You first prove it for simple functions, and then you use the supremum definition for non-negative functions, and you can use, you already proved MCT for simple functions, then you use the supremum definition to prove it for arbitrary non-negative functions. Okay. So, there is all proofs in integration go like this, right. And so, actually I had half a mind to do it in class, but it will probably take all of today's lecture, and I may lose you here in between, I guess, right. So, I decided against doing it in class, but it is not a difficult proof. I mean, for such a fundamental theorem in measure theory, it is about 2 pages long, and you can actually follow it, and if you have difficulty following it, please do come to me. Okay. It is an interesting proof. Okay. So, I will not spend class time on it, because that is all I will be able to do today if I do it. Okay. So, in the example we gave, so the example we gave, right. So, we said Gn of last class, we said we took the functions, the sequence of functions as n 1 over n, right. Your sample space was 0 1, and you took I guess you put solid dots here, hollow dots over there, and in this case the integral of Gn of omega was 1, right, but the limit function was 0, right, limit of Gn was 0 for every omega, right. So, it was not possible in this case to interchange limit and integration, right. In fact, you can see that monotonicity does not hold, right. After all, if this is your Gn of omega, Gn plus 1 will look like, so Gn plus 1 would look like that, right, it will be at n plus 1 and 1 over n plus 1, right. So, while it is true, so Gn has to get bigger, right. So, it is true that Gn plus 1 is bigger than Gn over here, but in this little interval Gn plus 1 is 0, whereas Gn is equal to n, right. So, in this set of positive measure, this set has positive measure, namely the measure is 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. In that little set you have failure of monotonicity, right. So, I mean, which is one, I mean, if this were monotonic, so if this is monotonic, you will have by the MCT you will have convergence of the integrals as well, right. On the other hand, if you were to take g n of omega equal to 1 between 0 and 1 over n, right. So, for what I am saying is, if you have, if g n of omega were equal to 1 between 0 and 1 over n, and so g n plus 1 will be 1 between 0 and 1 over n plus 1. In this case, the sequence of functions is so in this case this is monotonically decreasing, right, correct. So, even so in this case you will have convergence of integrals, right. Yeah, so the reason it broke down here was it was bigger back, I mean the monotonicity did not quite hold, right. Okay, so there is one property I had not proven, right. So, there was a property of linearity which I said is not easy to prove using the supremum definition, right. I said that we will get back to it after we do monotone convergence theorem, right. So, let us get back to linearity. So, this says that integral g plus h d mu is equal to integral g d mu plus integral h d mu, right. This is a property we never proved. As you might expect, the proof goes in the usual sequence, right. You prove it for simple functions, you take g and h as both simple and prove it, okay, and then you have to generalize for these non-negative, arbitrary non-negative functions as well, and then you can go to g plus g minus, that is standard, right. Okay. So, now so if first assume g and h are simple. So, you have a representation of g as sum over a I, indicator of a I, all right. I is equal to 1 through some n finite, all right, and h as sum over. So, what I mean is g of omega is equal to sum over a I of omega, right, and similarly h is equal to j equals 1 through m bi, indicator of some other b, some other sets, okay. So, all these ai's and all these bi's are measurable sets, f measurable sets, okay. So, in this case what will g plus h be? G plus h will also be simple, right. So, g plus h will have the representation sum over I equals 1 through n, sum over j equals 1 through m, a I, I should write b j here, right. So, I will have a I plus b j, indicator what? A I intersection b j, right. After all, the function g plus h will take the value a I plus b j if your omega lies in a I intersection b j, correct. So, now what we will assume, so let us assume that these two are canonical representations. Okay. If I assume that these are canonical representations, then I will have this a i's are disjoint and b j's are also disjoint. Okay. So, these guys will be disjoint for a different i's and j's. So, these intersections will be disjoint, correct. So, if I have, so if I am looking at this integral g plus h d mu, that will simply be sum I equals 1 through n, sum j equals 1 through m, a I plus b j measure of that guy, right, by definition, measure a I intersection b j, is it correct, by definition. So, I can just rewrite this as sum over I equals 1 through n a I. So, this a I will come out of the j summation, right, and then I will write sum over j equals 1 through m mu a I intersection b j, correct, plus sum over j equals 1 through m. So, now I am looking at that summation. Okay. So, in which, so if I am looking at that summation, I can bring the I summation inside, right. So, that is just algebra. You will get b j sum over I equals 1 through n mu, same thing, a I intersection b j. Good. Now, what is that equal to? See these a I, see this a I intersection b j, if you just look at it as some sets indexed by j, let us call this C j now. Okay. So, if you take, so these are disjoint sets, right, because we have assumed that G and H are in canonical representation, right. So, these sets are disjoint and you are adding the measures of disjoint sets, which means I should get the measure of, yes exactly, right, you will get the measure of the unions of all these guys over all these sets over J, right. So, this will simply become, so essentially, so these are, this is by countable additivity of measure, finite additivity of measures, this will become I equals 1 through n a I mu of a I, right. I am just, so you just have to establish that union over all that, union of all these sets over J is simply a I, right. And similarly, the you flip the argument around, if you take union over I, this will give you the measure of the J's, B J's, right. So, you will get J equals 1 through m B J mu a well taking union over I. So, this should be B J, right. So, that is exactly the, this is nothing but the integral of a g, right. This is integral g d mu plus integral h d mu. Okay. So, proving it for simple functions is quite elementary, right. Now, you have to prove it for arbitrary functions, arbitrary non-negative functions first, right, measurable functions. measurable non negative functions. So, there you use the monotone convergence theorem.